ready? Good. Okay, so this was the most challenging part of our term this term. And this is just a bit of it. We've got another bit to come. This is where we're talking about present habit or past habit. Now, I've always taught that when we use present habit, we use present simple, like Mike always teaches English online. That's fact, habit. Or a past habit would be Mike used to smoke. I used to smoke, but I don't smoke anymore. A past habit, something I used to do in the past that I don't do anymore. Basic, present simple or past simple. Now the thing with using it in its most basic form is that they are unemotional. They're just talking about facts and habits. There's no emotion with it. But what we've got here is all the emotional stuff. Sorry, Adil, my dog is just, she's a pain. This is all the emotional stuff. So, here's a way of describing characteristic behaviour. We use the same sentence to describe everything here so you could feel the differences. You talk about your husband, Anna. He isn't a jealous man, but he will call me every 5 minutes. When we're using will, which is a future word, to describe present habit, we're just describing his personality, part of his personality. Oh, my cat will always sleep on my bed. Really, my dog will always sleep on my bed, won't you, Miley? Yeah. And she will always sleep on my bed. She will come down in the middle of the night, jump on my bed, she'll wake me up. How do I feel about it? Doesn't really matter. I'm talking about her characteristic behaviour. But what if, when she jumps on my bed every night, I get really angry? I could use this present continuous and say, my dog is always sleeping on my bed and I'm angry. Here, suddenly we've turned your characteristic behaviour into something that makes you really angry. My husband is always calling me every 5 minutes. We're using the present continuous tense with always or never. And as soon as we do that, which is a really twisting the language, I never teach this language because it's not right to use always with a continuous tense. But here on the upper intermediate advanced level, it is because it shows anger. One sentence, as soon as it goes into present continuous with always or never, we know that that person is angry about this situation. But remember, we can always use it as praise as well. Ah, my husband is always calling me every 5 minutes just to say that he loves me. Isn't that sweet? So we can use it for praise as well, though in general, it tends to be an angry feeling that we're conveying. So these are the two aspects of present habit that are very interesting because we're using the language in a very different way. We're not using will in the future. We're using will to discuss present characteristic behaviour. We're using present continuous to describe a fact, which we'd normally use present simple for, but we're using present continuous because we're angry about it. And it's a lovely way of using the language, very common ways of using the language in the to describe present habit with some emotion there. In the past, yes, we can use past simple, or we can use used to, past habit, standard, no emotion, but we can also use these two different ways. One is to take the present continuous and turn it into the past continuous to show that we were angry about something. Oh yeah, my husband, he was always calling me every 5 minutes, so I divorced him because it made me so angry. But we can also reminisce, and this is very key to the language. We can say, my husband, I remember him so sweetly, so fondly. We usually use this language, the reminiscing, when someone is no longer with us, when they've died. And we say, oh, my husband, yeah, I remember him very well. He would call me every 5 minutes just to tell me that he loved me. It's nostalgia, it's a nostalgic behaviour. This is when we reminisce, when we feel very sentimental about something. These feelings could be pleasant, but they can also be unpleasant. The feeling is, if they're pleasant, we normally feel a sweet sadness. If they're not pleasant, we feel a painful sadness, you know, something that brings up some sadness and some grief. But sadness, when we reminisce, it's like a happy, sad feeling. You know, that sweetness that sort of causes some pain when you remember it, and beauty and love as well. So yeah, all present habit and past habit that causes some sort of an emotion, anger, praise, reminiscing, feelings of sadness and sentimentality. So that is the highlight of the more difficult language that we use this term.